exercises that you can begin with over the next 2 days as the teachers and I go into school tomorrow and try to put together really concrete learning plans for everybody. So that's the framework for today. With that, I will get started. Let me see if I can, yep. So this is not at all what anybody expected, right? So many of you may be feeling like this, and I was confused. I was pulling my hair out of my head. I have been with you on this journey of feeling extremely confused and trying to filter through all the information that has been coming at us and to us from various sources. So the board and I met, and Kern was also there. We met Friday night. I think we met Friday night. And we chose to close the school because, first of all, we fall under the Department of Education, and that is clearly the recommendation from the Allen County Health Department and from the CDC, which they have followed CDC's guidelines. And this is really to prevent the widespread thing of this pandemic illness and to flatten this curve. I'm sure you've all seen the graph. I didn't want to put in that graph again. It's been on our social media pages. It's been everywhere. What we're trying to do is not have huge peaks in hospital usage, in all the things that our hospitals and our elderly especially are going to need, and to prevent the spread or to reduce the speed of spread is what we're really trying to do by closing the school. In addition, I won't know whether that third one showed up. Let's see. There was one other thing. Knowing that the age group that we serve they are not going to be able to do social distancing because children will need hugs, they will need their backs rubbed, they will need help in the bathroom, and social distancing just doesn't work for them, for us, and every surface needing to be disinfected. So often, all we would be doing is chasing children around and cleaning. So it didn't seem prudent to do it that way. And we'd also be extremely anxious of every sneeze, every cough. So we thought that this was the best decision to keep everybody safe. Oh, there it is. There's that one. I don't know why that showed up this way. Okay. This might be an older version of my PowerPoint because I'm doing this on my tablet. So the other thing is we are asking, the government and everybody is asking us to use social distancing. That means 6 feet away from each other. Tomorrow, when the staff come in, I have told them very, very clearly, we are going to practice social distancing. We are going to work very hard. If we bump into each other, we're going to go wash our hands. We are not going to share any more food anymore. We're going to throw away any open packages of food just because we just don't know what's sitting there. And we're going to start the disinfecting process as we put together the packets. Some people will be working on the packets. Some people will be working on putting together, disinfecting the classrooms. We have the EPA guidelines on what we can use and cannot use. And we also have manufacturer guidelines on what we can use on their products as well. So we're going to be putting all of that together over the next couple of weeks so that when children do come back, it's going to be safe. In addition, what we're going to do is we are going to be packing up all nap gear, all extra clothing, snow pants, socks, hats, mittens, and we are going to be placing them outside the school, and we'll label them. The next couple of days is going to be sunny, so that's good. And we'll set up times for you to come by and pick them up so that you guys can go home, take home your own belongings, and please wash them before returning them to school. We are going to do a serious washing of all our cloth materials, our rugs, our towels, everything will be washed before the children come back to school. When school will open is the next question that I know many of you have. I don't know the answer is what I can tell you. The board has decided to meet on March 31st, and by April 1st, I will let everybody know what decisions we've made. By then, hopefully this spread has slowed down enough in our community that we can start attending school. We don't know what that's going to look like. And we don't know beyond that. We're trying to take it just till March 31st. That is our goal right now. As you enter these next couple of weeks, those of you that have attended Positive Discipline with me know this for certain. Self-care first, and I mean that genuinely. You really cannot take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself. And I know this is really hard, especially today, because we have social distancing. It is really hard. And those of you who have elderly people in your family, you do not want your children near there, and they may be your best support system, near them rather. And they may be your best support system. I encourage you to use FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, whatever you can to stay in touch and keep network with your support system. And find ways of taking care of you. Really practice some deep breathing. I can tell you there's so much research out there about when we take deep breaths, we really calm our nervous system down. And that means taking a deep breath in through your nose, filling up your lungs, and letting it out slowly. And really doing that 4 or 5 times in a row, several times a day. When we can do that, we can actually start getting oxygen to our brain. Because usually when we're getting worked up, and I will tell you very honestly, ask Corinne, ask my family how worked up I've been these last 2 weeks. The more worked up I get, the faster I speak, the more the more I don't let others speak. I have my own habits when I am really worked up. And I'll be honest, I was. And so I have my support system. I have been doing my real serious mindfulness practices and meditations to help us all through this. Secondly, if you can also, I'm going to go back a little bit to the social distancing because I forgot to mention something. Social distancing does not mean we get to have play dates. And I'm going to say this one more time. Social distancing does not mean we get to have play dates. The point is that we are just our own families for a while. It does mean kids get to go outside in their own backyards and play, get fresh air. I'm going to go through those kinds of things a little bit later, but it is really, really important that we don't go to places like Sky Zone, McDonald's Play Place, Chuck E. Cheese, and all those Jungle George's, Jungle Gyms, whatever that place is called, laser tag. These are places that the spread of illness will go faster. This is not the time to practice taking your child to the grocery store if you can at all avoid it, because they will touch everything. If you can go alone, the best is to go alone. You can wipe down your carts, you can wash your hands before, you can wash your hands afterwards. I truly mean if your children cannot be out in the open, that would be the best. Now, we do know from this disease that children get it a very mild form, but adults are getting it more and more severely. So, and one more point I want to make about coronavirus right now is at this point in our school, we have no confirmed cases. Now, if any of you fall ill over the next couple of weeks when we do not have school, please call us. We really do want to monitor illnesses. We are keeping track of it for the health department, for the Department of Education. We do have to report these numbers, these stats to them. So if anybody in your family even are showing symptoms, we're keeping a track of that. And if any of you do test positive, I pray that that does not happen to you. Please, please, please let us know so we can inform other families, because it is our due diligence to inform others when that happens. With that, now, here comes the home learning part. One of the best things about Montessori is that it's a prepared environment. And I want to say this also before I begin. By doing these presentations, by doing all this, we, by no means, the staff and I do not expect you to be perfect Montessori teachers. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is going to be the most imperfect version of home learning that we're all going to experience. And we're going to hear to support any mistakes that happen along the way. So one of the premises of a Montessori education is the prepared environment. We call it the prepared classroom. So for you guys, what does that mean at home? That means having consistent schedules. Having, tell them at the beginning of the day, these are the things. And if your child is very young, like 3, tell them what the morning will look like. And then tell them what the afternoon is going to look like, so that there's constantly structure and they know what to predict. When children can predict what's going to come, then they're much better inclined to be feeling safe, secure, because we're all feeling anxious right now. We don't want that to translate to the children. So having schedules is one way of helping children feel secure. I encourage you all to create at least one area of the house for academic learning, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can lay out different activities on a table, on your dining room table, you can create a makeshift shelf. It doesn't have to look like our classrooms. And I really want to emphasize that your home does not have to look like our classrooms. It can look pseudo. Nobody's going to convert their entire home, and your children will be okay. Make it simple. We're going to give you lots of choices as the weeks are going. I have a list of over 200 activities at least, and I haven't even talked to Corinne, Nancy, Lisa, and Miranda about activities they've found. I don't want you to do all 200. I'm going to tell you this right now, but I'm going to give you choices as to, you may not have this activity, you may not be able to do that activity at your house. You may be able to do activity number 17. So make it simple. No more than about 10 choices for the day for your child. This is going to be a lot of work on your part, and I want you to have fun while you're doing it. None of you signed up to be your child's teacher. This is where I am. None of you signed up to be your child's teacher, yet you have been their teacher all along, and I want you to know that. I want you to find your success stories of when you taught your child how to do something and pull from those successes. And parents, you guys are so excited to show them the world and have them learn everything. It is really exciting to watch your children learn. And so with that being said, remember to take it at their pace and not your pace. They do go slower than you. Slow down is what I'm going to tell you. And if you're presenting new lessons, new concepts, new ideas, give the brain some time to allow that information to sink in. We call that assimilation time. In traditional education, in Montessori education, children need time to absorb what's been taught. They can't go from one activity to the next, to the next, to the next, okay? They just can't. They're gonna need some downtime. We get excited sometimes and we wanna do more. Just know you don't have to make it that complicated. Another really key component in Montessori education is the concept of choice. We're going to give you lots. We're going to give you the choices of what you can offer them and allow them to choose from that menu as to what they are going to do. If you've noticed that your child is only choosing math, for instance, let it be for an entire day. The world will not come spinning to a stop if that's what they want to do that day. Just make sure that the next day you might want to point out to them, hey, I noticed you did a lot of math yesterday. What do you think about doing some language today? Or what do you think about doing some science today? Notice. Okay, so that's what your job is going to be when you're giving them choices. Notice what their choices are, give them some freedom, and set some limits. The limits are going to be, we're going to do just this. The limit might be in your schedule. This is going to be work time, just like how you have in school. You're going to have work time at home. And it's going to be till I ring the bell or until the timer on my phone goes off. Make sure, if you can at all, that they only do one thing at a time. If they're doing a puzzle and then they want to go to reading a book, have them put away the puzzle first, and then they can choose the work, and then they can choose the book. If you keep those kinds of routines that they're used to at school, it'll make it easier for them later at the end of the day instead of having 15 things out. And I encourage you, choose a project for each day and have them help you decide the day before, 2 days before. Oh, you want to try a new recipe that you've never tried before. This is a great time to teach those skills. You can teach them measuring, how to use a knife, how to use a peeler, how to clean up after cooking, how to wash dishes after cooking. And also it gets them to taste some new foods. So there's lots of great things with doing cooking projects. They can also really develop physically during this 2-week period. They might learn to ride a bike, or learn to ride a scooter, do somersaults, cartwheels. Help them explore their bodies in real safe ways, because now you've got this uninterrupted block of time that you can actually teach it. We're slowing down because of this coronavirus. All of us are slowing down. And it's a time for children to also enjoy the slow. Maybe we can go down to their pace finally. Sewing is another great thing. Sewing, knitting, crocheting. If you know how to do any of those, I encourage you, this is the time to teach it. Think about what you love to do as a craft, as a hobby. Get them involved in it. If you like woodworking, pull out some hammer and nails. They can do this. Get some safety goggles. This is the time to pull out those projects that you may have never found time to do. I'm hoping you're going to enjoy this process as much as we enjoy having your children in our classroom. This can be a lot of fun. Independence. Yeah, allow your children, whatever they're doing, allow them to do it independently. Remember, this is one of my favorite Montessori quotes. Never help a child with a task at which he feels he can succeed. I'm going to say this one more time, because even if it's not perfect, He's done it to what he feels is best. Good enough. And make sure he doesn't see you fixing it. Let's say you're teaching him how to make a bed and it's not 100% straight. It's not the way you would have made it. This is a time, let it go. And because they will catch you fixing it and they may not feel as good about themselves. Whereas whatever they did, if you're accepting with time, with patience, you can point out, oh, look, we can make it a little bit straighter here. Or you can, look at my bed. Here's how I'm doing my bed. Excuse me. I'm going to grab some water. Excuse me, my mouth is super dry. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, allow those things to happen. Next, children need movement when they learn. One idea, really simple idea, is put puzzle pieces in one room, but they get to build it in the other so they can move back and forth. The more they move, the happier they're going to be. Play follow the leader games, walking with a beanbag on their head, walking with a spoon, holding a marble. How many steps? You can count those steps in the house, in the kitchen. How many tiles do we have here maybe? I don't know. You'll have to look at your house and get creative. But make sure that children are not just sitting to learn. Remember that children need to move to learn. And they can also practice moving like different animals, practice moving like a snake from one room to the other, or a kangaroo. So get creative. And if you run out of ideas, we are here to help you. This is really it. Like if you're stuck, send us an email, send us a text, whatever, however you want to communicate with us, however you and your teacher have decided. And we are there to help you through this. That is really my message to you today. Mistakes are going to happen. You're going to make them. I'm going to make them. Your child is going to make them. The teachers are going to make them. And remember that mistakes are just an opportunity to learn. And one of my favorite Dr. Maria Montessori quotes is, we teach teaching, not correcting. And what that means is when your child makes a mistake, step back, take a deep breath. Let's see if the child corrects it themselves first. Okay, just give them some time to correct it. And if he or she does not correct it, just make note that, okay, they put their A backwards, or that their 7 was upside down. They didn't really snap all the buttons. You know what? Let it be and show it again another day. You're going to show them the 7 upside down or right side up. You can play games with that, which is the right way. Because we don't, when they're so proud of their work, we don't want to demoralize them by correcting it right away. Oftentimes they're so proud of what they've done, and we sometimes steal from them by correcting it. And I can tell you as a parent, I was queen of it. So I've really learned by doing my Montessori training as to how not to step in and how to really just watch and observe. The other really, I'm sure you've heard me talk about this ad nauseum, and you're probably sick of hearing me talk about this one, but concentration. When you notice your child is focused on a puzzle, Legos, art, anything, please avoid interrupting and avoid siblings interrupting them as well. We call these flow states, and this is really when the learning is taking place. You know, we don't want to say good job. We don't want to say, oh, move that piece there. We don't want to say, oh, it's time for lunch. Just watch when they're super focused. And I know all of you have watched your children be super focused. Try to be as silent as possible. Imagine yourself, if you are so deeply concentrated reading a book, what is that going to be like if somebody just alarms you and says, oh, I need this, or can you do this? Oh, good job reading. Like, why are you doing this to me is what you're going to feel. And so the children feel the same way when they're working. So put yourselves in their shoes. When you're concentrating, what do you like? They like the same thing. I cannot emphasize this one enough. Encouragement. And I want to encourage you to feel empowered to teach. We're going to support you, and you can do this. And praise, remember, does not equal encouragement. Good job especially does not equal encouragement. And I'm going to say that one more time. Good job does not equal encouragement. Use evaluative statements. That means, I noticed that you put all those blocks in a row. Oh my goodness, how do you feel? And then encourage self-evaluation. When they draw a picture, instead of immediately saying good job, because it is a good job that they did, I'm going to encourage you to say, will you tell me about what you drew? I want to hear about it. And if they're open to it at that point, you can say, would you like to write the story about what you drew? Would you like me to write the words? And ask them, how do you feel you did? How do you think you did with this work? And here's a place where children need the most amount of encouragement, is when they get frustrated. If you want to teach them, let's say you're teaching them how to button, and they really are getting stuck and they're getting frustrated or learning to zipper by themselves, you know, try to take a deep breath yourself when your child is frustrated, because when they're frustrated, we get frustrated, especially as parents. If you were to teach your next door neighbor the same skill, it would go so much easier teaching your next door neighbor's child. Don't give up. Try to make it down to the smallest step possible. The smaller the step when they are frustrated, the easier it's going to be for them. And reach out to us. I'm going to say this probably a million times today. We are there for you, okay? And I mean that genuinely. We care about each and every one of your children. We know this is hard for all of you as parents. And I really, really invite you to reach out to us, and reach out to us often. Allow breaks. Yeah, after like maybe an hour of work time, let's do an hour of half an hour of outside time. Break the day up so that there is a schedule, but you're still breaking it up. And your children will automatically, if they've done, let's say they're learning to write, and they just wrote, a certain number of letters, or they wrote a list. And that took a lot of effort for this child, okay? They already know their brains need a break. And do you know what they do in our classrooms? They will go and choose a really easy work like spooning or pouring, or they might choose something like art, what they're really good at. And another way to take a break, full laundry. Help me with emptying the dishwasher. They don't have to constantly be on academic mode. Their brains need time to like take a chill pill before they go on to the next task. And I really mean that one. Have fun, okay? Make sure that the message that learning is joyful comes through. If it's starting to get stressful, put it aside. We're here for you. And you can also model this by using this time to learn something new for you and share what you've learned with your children. You know what? I learned how to, do X, Y, or Z. I'm learning how to start seeds in it's a perfect time of the year. If you can get some lamps, start seeds inside. Hello? Did somebody's turn on? Somebody unmute themselves accidentally? Okay. What are our teachers' role? Our teachers can be in touch via video because we now have the Zoom account. We are planning some video conferencing as well, both individual, small group, large group. We're looking at all different ways to use Zoom as our platform. And we're hoping to do even like community time where we can do some movement with the children, read a book with all of them. And we will be we'll be sending you an email the night before with a schedule of what we will be doing online. Phone calls and emails are another great way to keep in touch with your child's teacher. And tomorrow, all of us are going into school, and we will know better what this is going to look like. You will be seeing, just like I did this PowerPoint, we're going to be doing videos. Each teacher has chosen an area of the classroom that they are going to present to you guys. Like my area is, of course, math, if you didn't figure that one out. I may go first to show you some math lessons that you can do at home specifically, how to present it, how to lay it out. I've gone online to Montessori Print Shop. Once I download some really simple printouts, we can print them out for you. If you don't have time to cut them out, tell us. We can try and cut them out for you. But if you can cut them out, you can help us by cutting them out, because cutting out 20 copies of things is going to be challenging for us. Anybody that can help with those things for us, that would be really great. They're really affordable printouts that you can use for teaching math, language, sensorial even. So we're going to have those things set up for you. But that'll come in your in-home packets that we want to send out to you. Next, please have your children do chores at home during this time. This is a great time to teach a new chore. If they have never learned how to fold a shirt, your kindergartners can learn how to fold a shirt. They can learn how to fold pants. They can learn how to measure. Your younger children may get a really good lesson on how to fully empty the dishwasher now. This is a time that I say take time for training. And have them choose 2 or 3 chores to do every single day. Let them choose when they're going to be done, but also follow through. Those of you who have attended positive discipline with me, you know about this. Follow through, follow through, follow through. So if they've said they're going to do this in 20 minutes, when that timer goes off in 20 minutes, it's time to do that chore. And you're going to do that with kind and firmness. So that means you're going to do it with a smile. You're going to take the child's hand, no words, you can do this. And it's time to. And as soon as that's done, we can do something else. Reach out to us because this is stressful and we're all here for you. My whole positive discipline support system is also here for you during this time. They're putting together new activities just for this, by the way. And I might try to do some online activities with those that are interested with positive discipline as well. This is one of the areas that I know that I battled with my children on, chores. So if your family's anything like mine, this might be a place where you guys battle too. Granted, my battles were when they were older, not so much when they were younger. So we talked about some daily living skills, I thought, practical life skills, but here are some things that you can do in sensorial, some simple things you can do over the next 2 to 3 days. Then Nancy is going to be doing her video and her handout on this area of the classroom. Find all the shapes, find all the triangles in your house. See if you can find, how many triangles can you find? If you are a chef, you might have lots of herbs. You can put them into small shaker jars and cover them up so they can match which one is which. Creating a mystery bag. We'll show you this on a video one day. Taking a little purse, an old purse that you may have can be used as a mystery bag. Put regular items in there, like a spoon, a toothbrush, a screw, a paper clip, and have them put their hand in the bag without looking. And can you find me the paper clip? And they can only use their hands to find it. They love doing this game at school, so they can love doing this at home. Now for the older kids, you could maybe even cut out numbers in there. Can they feel it with just their hands and figure out what number it is? Can you figure it out with what number it is with just the cutouts too? There's some fun things you can do as you do this. So we'll come up with more ideas for you. In language, for now, until your teacher contacts you, read every day, a big variety of books. For those children who like to write, offer paper, have them write notes, have them write lists. Children love making lists, okay? They like making lists of animals, lists of things in the kitchen, lists of fruit. They love writing those kinds of things, and let them write. And one more, I'm gonna say this one more time. When they're writing, they're going to use what we call inventive spelling. They might spell fruits F-R-U-T-S, and that is fine. That is beautiful if they can do that. They don't know the UI sound yet, and that's not the time to introduce it to them when they're writing. There's a different time to introduce it. That's not it. And I encourage you all to tell stories. Stories that happened to you when you were a child. Stories really storytelling is becoming a lost art. So if you know stories even from books and you don't want to tell a story from your childhood, I encourage you to tell stories that you know really well without a book. Let them use their imagination without having a picture in front of them. Have them develop that sense of imagination. And I Spy games. Now for the younger child, you might say, I spy something in this room that's red. Can you find me something that's red? Can you find me something that's yellow? For the older child, you might do, for the next level, you might do, can you find me a word in this room that begins with s or mm, and let them find you something that begins with a mm sound. And for the older child, you might even do, can you find me something that begins with a sh sound, with a ch sound. So there's lots of different levels for each one, and your teachers will personalize this area and the math area, especially for all of you, so that they can do this. We will be sending journals home for all students, and we'll also be sending the kindergarten journals home with our kindergartners, for our kindergartners. And what we're going to do is give you a writing prompt. Give your child a writing prompt. Tell us about your favorite sport. Tell us about, and so that one child may be able to write the sport is soccer. They might just write the word soccer, and that's good enough. For the other child, you might want to encourage them to write a whole sentence. Every child is different. We will tell you the level that they're at and what to expect. We'll show you how we do the handwriting at school so that you can follow the same level that they're at home. And then what we want to do with the journal prompts is maybe invite all the kindergartners to come on Zoom at a specific time so that they can share what their journal prompt is with everybody. Those are the kinds of ways that we want to keep them in touch with each other as well. In math, Again, until your teacher contacts you, remember something. Math is everywhere. They can count spoons. I noticed Diana posted on Facebook today or Instagram today about counting coins. They can count and sort paper clips of various sizes. This might be a great way to clean out some of your junk drawers. I wish I could have them come to my house. I have 2 junk drawers that need to be cleaned. So have them sort different things around your house. And then another way to play this game is find me 1 of something. Can you find me 2 of the same thing? Can you bring me 5 of the same thing? So there's different ways to keep them engaged. And if your child knows bigger numbers, if I had 5 of these things and 3 were gone, how many would there be? And have them remove them and see how many are left. I'll be going through some advanced lessons with some of the advanced students on how to do multiplication and division at home, addition and subtraction. You can count stairs, you can count steps. How many lights are in our house? How many lamps are in our house? You get creative. This is where you can get totally creative. It's a great way another way to do math is Uno, card games, games with dice where they have to move the piece that many number of spaces. Chutes and ladders comes to mind. Candyland, I guess Candyland is just done with color, but any game that has numbers like that, my children loved Uno. Monopoly Junior for some children could be really great. Think of those kinds of things. Those are really great ways to teach math and to keep an interest in math, not just teach math, but to have fun with math. Remember, math can be fun. Science, I'm sending you these 2 links tonight. There's mommypoppins.com has great science experiments that you can do with simple things that you have around in your home already. And mysterydoug.com has some videos that the children can watch and also some follow-up stuff. Art, I encourage you if you can through Amazon, if you don't want to go to the store, have some extra art supplies delivered to your home because this is a great time to explore art for those artists in the room. Get different media, get clay, get paint, get watercolors, get tempera paint, get hand painting. There's all different mediums. Don't try to do 3D as well as 2D. I mean, oftentimes we're stuck in the world of painting and drawing for art. Try to do more clay and sculpture so that they're really getting into 3D art as well. And it might be a time to pull out some pictures, even on your computer, and show a particular artist that you've always loved. If you have loved art yourself, this is a great chance to share what Monet has done or Renoir has done, or from your culture, art from your culture. This is a great time to expose children to your own home culture if it's different than our country's culture. So, and I'm almost on my last slide. I encourage everyone to do family meetings. I was just on a Zoom phone call with other Montessorians, and this is the time, everybody, that we're all in kind of crisis mode. It's really good to do a daily check-in with family meetings. In the beginning, if it's just acknowledgements, just do acknowledgements, and that's fine. But another tool that you can use is highs and lows. What were the highs of today? What were the lows of today? So that children can start thinking about what was good today, what wasn't. And it's okay if they tell you that, oh, they hated doing the math thing that you asked them to do. It's okay that they didn't like it. I won't say hate. Okay, so they didn't like it. That was their low. But we can say, okay, there are things that we don't like too, right? There are parts of our job that we don't like. I don't really like sweeping my kitchen floor. I really don't like it, but I do it. So talk to them about things that you don't like, but you have to do. It's okay for them to hear those things, and it's okay for them to not like something. They don't have to like everything, but they may have to do it. So, and really connect with your children this time. If they're scared, talk to them about their fears. One more piece of advice that I want to give you is, please, I encourage all of you to turn off all news channels in your home when your children are around. They hear things, our news is scary right now. They don't need those fears. If you do want to watch the news, I encourage you to go see it when you're private. And we are all anxious right now as adults. I encourage you, before you talk to your children about coronavirus and what's going on, take care of your own anxiety first. Don't start a conversation with your child when you're super anxious about it yourself. So take care, do your deep breathing. If you are, religious, go read whatever religious books you need to find a sense of peace before you go and talk to your children. If you need to be out in nature, go take your 5 deep breaths in nature, drink your coffee, drink your tea, whatever you need to really calm your nervous system down, and then go talk to your children. And when you talk to them, give them information at their level. Allow them to ask questions. Answer their questions as honestly as possible. If you don't know the answer, tell them you can find out. Reassure them that there are many adults from all over the world working on how we're going to solve these problems. No one is doing this alone. You have support. Make sure they understand that there are beautiful helpers everywhere. And let's say a gratitude for all our healthcare professionals right now who are really in the trenches. And make sure that they understand that, they're really doing a great job to keep our community safe, as is our health departments around the world. So make sure that they feel reassured that there are adults who are really smart that are working on this problem. And that's something that I like to tell them. I don't have to worry about this because there are really, really smart people working on this problem. So I think with that, I think that's my last slide. And I am on to questions and answers. So Corinne, I'm going to stop sharing.